Florida homeowner insurance market in 2022 has been tumbling towards collapse. However, there has been some recent legislation that may just help us avoid disaster. Want to know more about that? Well, hang out with me for the rest of this video. Yeah, it's December here in the state of Florida, and first time it's been below 60, and I'm really enjoying it. It's 58 degrees this morning, so it gives me an opportunity to put on some cozy clothes, which I never get to do. Kind of a fan of red plaid, if you can't tell. And I thought it'd be a perfect time for me to sit down and talk to you about what's happening with Florida insurance.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm a Florida real estate broker and a Florida resident.
Florida home insurance, some of the highest in the country. And that is per the, Insurance Information Institute. As a matter of fact, premiums have tripled in the past 5 years. And residents here in Florida, on average, the average policy is about $4,200 a year.
But there is a ray of hope on the horizon. Recently, some new laws passed, some of which went into effect in October and November of this year. These laws aim to make Florida insurance more affordable while ensuring there are enough reserve funds to pay catastrophic losses.
But will this plan actually work?
Florida has always been a complex home insurance environment, but recent issues are pushing the state's market to the point of collapse. Since 2017, 11 property and casualty companies that sold insurance in Florida have liquidated. Other companies, well, they're just voluntarily leaving the state. Even more are choosing to non-renew swaths of home insurance policies, drastically tightening their policy eligibility or requesting substantial rate increases.
So, for Floridians, Florida homeowners, this has resulted in fewer insurance companies underwriting here in Florida and much higher insurance premiums. So why don't we talk about why these insurance companies are leaving the state of Florida?
Here's a hint.
Well, for one, Florida has always been very risky for insurance companies due to higher weather-related events, tropical storms and hurricanes. But there's some other things that are going on here in Florida that are also causing these insurance companies to leave. The biggest problem that we have here in Florida for the insurance companies is fraud. Roofer fraud. So if you're not familiar with how the scam works, let me break it down for you. Basically, these roofers, they go around canvassing neighborhoods looking for unsuspecting homeowners. Maybe we had a hailstorm, whatever, some type of small storm. So they go out and they say, let me inspect your roof. They find some damage, and they tell the homeowner that they can not only get the insurance company to pay for it, and they'll fix it, but they'll also get the deductible waived. Pretty much guaranteeing them a free roof. Then they pressure the homeowner to sign a benefits form, giving the roofer the benefits, and the roofer files the claim. So the claims adjuster from the insurance company comes out and inspects the alleged damage. They find there's no damage or not very much damage, and they either reduce the amount of the payout or deny it altogether. Then the roofer brings legal action against the insurance company. Now remember, the homeowner signed over the benefits. They did an assignment form to the roofer so he can do this. Now the insurance company at this point has a choice. They can either fight it in court, which costs a lot of money and legal fees, or they can just settle and pay the claim. And they also have to pay the roofer's legal fees on top of that, which isn't good. And ultimately, it causes the insurance company to lose a lot of money. It was estimated that insurance companies in Florida lost $1.7 billion with the B in 2021, and that number's still growing. And as I mentioned before, on top of that, Florida had this one-way attorney fee thing. Basically, if the roofer won, the insurance company was also responsible for the roofer's legal fees. Yeah. So, not only were we paying for fraudulent roof charges, we were paying for the fraudsters' legal fees. But here's some good news. In 2022, we did have some bills passed to help, skin two of the cats. Let me tell you about them. So, the first legislation addressed abuse and assignment of benefits. So you can no longer assign your benefits. So if you're a homeowner here, you can't assign your benefits over to some contractor, some roofer. And 2, we're no longer paying for their legal fees. So you can sue here in Florida, but we're not going to allow you to also scoop up your own legal fees in that process as well.
So Governor Desantis has done several things to address the Florida insurance crisis. Among the provisions approved were a $2 billion injection into the Reassurance Assistance Program, a crackdown on skyrocketing attorney fees, which I just mentioned, and a new program to help Florida homeowners make their homes safer and more resistant to hurricane damage, hopefully lowering your insurance premium.
But there are also some other things that insurance companies are doing, which is tightening up their underwriting policies. If you want them to stay in Florida, this is what they're going to have to do.
Which means scrutinizing your home more carefully.
So yes, and instead of just leaving the state altogether, they just got super, super tight on their underwriting policies to avoid these type of scams. And one of them is looking at the age of your roof. Basically, none of these insurance companies are taking a homeowner who has a roof 15 years or older. That is, if it has less than 5 years left of life expectancy. So, if you're lucky enough to get insurance here in Florida, let's talk about some ways to reduce your risk of getting canceled, because cancellations are on the rise.
There's nothing you can do to prevent your insurance company from pulling out of the state, but there are steps you can take to make the home as insurable as possible. Okay, let's start with the roof. You need to keep it in really good shape. Inspect your roof regularly and make repairs, even if they're minor, as they happen. If you can afford to, replace the roof when it gets to 15 years of age. Install wind mitigation features, aka shutters, impact glass. Florida law requires the insurance company to offer you a discount if you have these things. If your home is older, improve the type of hurricane strapping you have by bringing it up to the most recent codes. Consider having a home inspection to check for deferred maintenance and jump on it immediately.
The cost of rising insurance here in the state of Florida is causing many people to reduce their amount of coverage and some to not have any at all. And there are others that have just decided to leave the state. According to the Census Bureau, not quite but nearly 300,000 people left the state of Florida in 2022. But if you're not ready to throw in the towel yet and sell, you could reduce your coverage. As I mentioned before, I'm even considering that right now. My policy renews in February, and I'm kind of terrified to see what it's going to be. And if it's way too high, I'm probably just going to pay off the remaining portion of my mortgage and go without wind coverage. Now, that's not for everybody. Meaning, if we have a hurricane, you're not covered. But at least I'll be covered if my house burns down, pipe bursts, slip and fall, got some liability insurance. There are a variety of ways you can reduce the cost of your policy if you don't have a mortgage, obviously. If you have a mortgage, the mortgage company requires you to have all of the coverage. Now, I am paying north of $4,000, and I think it's going to go to about $7,000, and I'm not real happy about it. Now, just to be clear, I'm not encouraging you to go without wind coverage. I'm just telling you it's something you can do if you don't have a mortgage. It's not for everybody. And I'm sure you're going to have a serious nail-biting situation if we have a really bad hurricane. I know I will. I'd also like to mention, while you're chewing on that, your hurricane deductible is much higher than your regular deductible. So you might have a $1,000 deductible, like if you have a water heater blow up. On a hurricane, you don't have that. You have a 2 or 3% deductible. So let's say you have a $400,000 house. Well, you've insured it for $400,000. You have an $8,000 deductible or higher. So let's say you have to replace the roof. You're still out the first $8,000 on top of whatever your insurance premium is, if it's $1,000 a month. But if you're in a flood zone, don't even consider it, because that's going to cause the most damage. I'm not in a flood zone. I'll never flood. I'm nearly 30 feet above sea level. Strange lot, way up high. Only thing you can do is my roof can blow off. So, with these new bills that have passed to help protect insurance companies, hopefully more insurance companies will come back to the state of Florida. But only time will tell if it will bring premiums down, because nothing happens fast. We can only keep our fingers crossed. And if I haven't scared you off yet, well, you should consider subscribing to this channel. I make all kinds of content. I make content on real estate news, things that affect real estate, things that affect home ownership, and some other topics. So you should peruse my channel to see if any of it resonates with you. And with that being said, you should probably watch these next upcoming videos if you're considering Florida. My name is Lisa.Ammons. I'm a real estate broker here in sunny South Florida, and I want to thank you for spending part of your day with me. Take care.